In today's video, I'm doing something completely different, and I'm not going to create a tone using the Tone Master Pro as I do in my usual video content. Instead, I'm going to go through the 20 guitars that I would buy today if I won the lottery. So this is probably my number one guitar that I'd want to try and find. This is the Kramer 5150, used on obviously the 5150 tour, but I saw it on the Live Without a Net concert video. Huge fan of that concert, so I was always impressed with this guitar. I just thought it was so cool. I actually prefer this over the Frankenstrat, but there are a couple of other Van Halen guitars that I'd want as well. But this is like number one. Number two would be Satriani Donnie. So this is the JS3, the Ibanez JS3. There's a whole load on this site called JS3Donnie.com, and I think the one that I remember most would have been maybe this one. Yeah, that's the one. Can't remember which album cover it's on. Was it an album cover or an EP cover? Maybe Dreaming Number 11 or something. Maybe, actually, no, that was way too early. I might have even seen this on a Guitar Mag cover or something. This in the Black Dog version, I just really wanted at the time. This is probably going back to Flying in the Blue Dream era. Number three is the BC Rich Gunslinger with the snakeskin finish. This might be one of the first guitars that I actually really wanted, and it was because it was in an ad in Guitar for the Practicing Musician, maybe, magazine. And it was always in a small ad down the sort of bottom of the page somewhere, but I just thought, like, I mean, bear in mind I was 13 years old. Just thought it was the coolest guitar I've ever seen. Never managed to get hold of one, but I did play a Gunslinger back in the day, and I loved it, but never owned a BC Rich. But, you know, this is lottery money we're talking, so if I had the cash, I would probably get that one. The 1987 Kramer Knightswan with a lightning bolt finish. I played a gig back when I was about 14 years old or something in my first band, which was called Exocet. And we supported a band, and they had a really, really good guitar player, and he was playing this exact guitar, the Knightswan with a lightning bolt finish. I remember it looking a bit cooler than this. That actually looks like a really dodgy finish, and maybe that's not the original, and maybe that's a fake or something, but it looked like the Dimebag kind of style lightning bolt finish on it that was a lot crisper than this. But if I could find a good example, you know what, I'd probably still buy it, even though it's 10 grand. This is the Jackson Jack Butler guitar from the movie Crossroads. So it's a replica of the San Dimas red sparkle finish guitar that Steve Vai used in the film. I think there's an image here. There we go. I don't think I really need to explain why I want this guitar. This scene at the end of the Crossroads movie was just, I watched it on repeat, trying to learn what Steve Vai was playing. I was a big fan of Steve Vai back in his early days as well. So yeah, just that's an iconic guitar for me. I would have that, and it's not actually that expensive either. Oh, 4 grand. I think it came out a bit cheaper than that when they first released it, but you know, it gets inflated on Reverb. There's a few Strats that I want, but the Jeff Beck signature Strat I think would be top of the list, and in the Seafoam finish as well. I've always wanted a Seafoam guitar. I still haven't got one, but yeah, I like the way that this guitar's set up. I think it still uses the roller nut, with the rosewood board as well. I just think it's a really clean finish, and especially, you know, with the aged look sort of pickups and tone and volume knobs. So that would be my number one Strat that I would go for. There are another couple, and I'll get to those in a sec. The Randy Rhoads Jackson V. Not sure if I'd have this particular finish. Maybe the black with the gold. I'm not sure, but I love signature guitars. So it would have to be either this one or the old sort of polka dot guitar that he had, the black polka dot. But I think it's a little bit easier to come by, the Jackson Vs. I don't particularly like sitting plain Vs, but you know, just to have one in the collection. I really want a Gibson ES-335, and I know a lot of people probably wouldn't like this finish, but I don't know, I just think it's something a bit different. I like it. Not a particularly expensive guitar or any, or rare guitar. I'd just be happy with one off the shelf. But yes, just to have it in the collection for occasionally just playing some blues licks on. Obviously, got to have a Telecaster as well, so I would probably go with the Richie Kotzen Telecaster because it's probably the most bling Tele that you can buy, and I love the fact that he went with the gold hardware on this guitar. I just think it sets it off really, really nicely. and with that sort of cream pick guard as well. Just looks awesome. I don't own a Telecaster at the moment. Look at that. I used to have one thin line, but sold that during COVID. So I would like to get another Tele and a Strat and a Les Paul. Talking of Les Pauls, I've always wanted a Goldtop. It's not the first thing that I would go to thinking about buying, but I think the Les Paul Goldtop looks much nicer than the burst finishes for some reason for me. I mentioned that I'd probably get another couple of Eddie's guitars. Well, the Wolfgang Stealth is probably the first one that comes to mind. I will get a Wolfgang at some point. I played one recently and I loved it. I just like how simple it is. Satin black, black hardware, zebra pickups, cream binding, looks awesome. The original floral JEM, I think, was probably along with the BC Rich Gunslinger, was the other guitar that I was sort of like obsessed with when I first started playing. And so that would have been like 1988. Steve Vai just joined David Lee Roth, and he was using, or maybe he hadn't just joined, but he just brought out this guitar and was using that, I think, on tour with Roth. So he was just, all over guitar mags with this guitar, and just thought I'd never seen anything with inlays quite like it. And the fact that they were sort of bright green as well stood out. Every time I went to a guitar shop, it was like straight over to look at the JEM and the Satch model as well. So yep, that would definitely be on the list. And I know it's kind of like probably a bit kitsch and cheesy, but I just love this original floral version just because it's so iconic. This one might surprise a few people, but the Kramer Jersey Star, which is the Richie Sambora signature model, I saw Bon Jovi a few times back in the late 80s, I guess. Would have been on the New Jersey tour, maybe potentially even coming off the back of the Slippery When Wet tour. And Richie was always playing this guitar. So it's a bit unnecessary having the triple humbuckers, but I'm not sure it's something that I'll play very often, but I'd just like to have that on the wall. Another EVH guitar, and this one is the 2005 Charvel EVH Art-inspired Bumblebee. I know you can get the EVH guitars, like the new version of everything, but they're not the same as what I would want. But when Charvel did this years ago, I think even before 2005, there were some other versions knocking around. But when they brought out this art series, I was like, yeah, I'd love one of those. Didn't see any of them where I was in Australia. There wasn't any in the shops that I saw, but it's only $3,000 if you got lottery money. What that's small change, right? I mentioned I'd want another couple of Fender Strats. Well, the Eric Clapton Strat is one of them, and I really like the silver finish. I know black is probably more synonymous with Clapton, with Blackie, but I don't know. I just really like that silver. And the next one would be the Malmsteen Strat with a scalloped fretboard and the vintage, well, it says vintage white. I always think of it as like that sort of buttermilk yellow kind of color. The 70s headstock and the Yngwie pickups in it. Yeah, I think that would be my three Strats. So the Jeff Beck, the Eric Clapton, and the Yngwie. Joe Satriani is one of my biggest sort of influences growing up and when I started playing, and I've listened to him ever since. So I would love to get a Chromeboy, and I like the double humbucker version, the original 22 fret version of this guitar, rather than the 24 fret, the one that has come out more recently that has the single coil sized pickup in the neck position and 24 frets. I feel like that body shape looks a bit off compared to this original. I used to have a JS 1000 black, cosmic black, I think it was. So it had a bit of sparkle through it. I should have kept that. I don't know. I don't know why. I get rid of guitars and I get bored and I move on and get other things, and I should have just held on to it. It's actually a really nice guitar. But yeah, that would go in the collection as well. Moving on, a PIA, just because Steve Vai. This guitar has grown on me a lot. I thought it was a bit crazy when it came out. I was just like, oh, I'm not sure about that, how busy it looks. But again, this one would just look great on the wall. So why not? The Zakk Wylde Bullseye finish Les Paul. That's crazy money. I'm not sure if anyone's ever going to pay $13,000. That's Australian dollars, but still 13 grand for a Bullseye Les Paul. I'm pretty sure you'd get one cheaper than that, or just get it custom painted. Seems a bit mad. When I was at school, a friend of mine gave me a copy of No Rest for the Wicked, and I listened to that album a lot, trying to figure out how Zakk Wylde played and how he did all those crazy like runs and pentatonic stuff and his sort of chicken picking things that he was doing. So yeah, he was like, I wouldn't say that he's influenced the style that I play, but like I loved his playing. And so yeah, I would definitely get one of these. Now this guitar would be a replacement for a guitar that I used to own. Again, another one that I've bought and sold, shouldn't have. I had a Suhr Modern, and really, really beautiful guitar. And it was a Bengal Burst, I think it was called. Had a very highly figured maple top, maple headstock matching as well, and the Power Ferro fretboard. But this guitar, the James Ivanyi signature model, I think is a really, really nice spec. Totally stealthed out except for the fret markers, which I think is a really nice touch. And he's deleted the tone knob as well, so it's just a simple volume and pickup selector, and then just the blacked out hardware, pickups, everything. And it's all gloss finish. Just a really, really nice guitar, and just a little bit of, you know, gold touch there, just nice accent. If you haven't heard James's music, check it out. Like, go to the website, check out his guitar, check out this video, and then his music as well. You can get on Bandcamp and I assume Spotify as well. Really interesting music as well. James writes sort of progressive rock, but he's a very, very technical and incredible guitar player as well on top of that. So definitely check him out. So that's the first 20 that came to mind when I was thinking of like guitars that I'd buy if I won the lottery. Let me know what guitars you would buy if you won the lottery. I'm sure there's some pretty interesting picks out there. Put it in the comments and I'll check them out. Thanks for watching.